Here to tell us more is CBN's chief political analyst, David Brody. David, law and order is a big issue this year. How will President Trump's and Joe Biden's differing policies affect voters, do you think?
Well, I think we're starting to see some of that already, Mark. Sources that I'm talking to that are close to the president say that they have internal numbers showing that the battleground states that are key in this election, places like Florida and Michigan, Wisconsin, places like that, Pennsylvania as well, they're seeing an uptick in the president's numbers based on this issue that you just raised, law and order and protecting cities, making sure there's not rioting in the streets and all of that. So that's the internal numbers from the Trump campaign. We've seen some of this as well in polling where the president's approval number actually ticking up as high as 52%. And there's other analytical data out there as well to suggest that Biden could potentially have a problem on his hands if he keeps avoiding the issue as it relates to rioting in the streets in Kenosha and many other places across the country.
David, we saw plenty of criticism of Trump during the Democratic National Convention last week. And last night, Vice President Pence dished out some attacks of his own against Biden. How has this back and forth played a role in both conventions?
Well, look, you're right. I mean, the Democratic National Convention, it was orange man bad, right? It was Donald Trump is basically the devil incarnate, if you will. I put that in air quotes, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, the Democrats can't stand him. And this week, we've seen a much different situation to the point where many folks, not just the vice president, but Kayleigh McEnany and many other folks, just regular, ordinary Americans saying, hey, this president actually helped me, or there's compassion stories about this president. Look, no one's going to all of a sudden believe that Donald Trump is this wonderful Boy Scout. No one's suggesting that. But I do think that there has been a marked difference this time around with the Republicans. So we'll see. I can tell you this, that Joe Biden has to be very careful here because the law and order issue that you mentioned earlier, Mark, really hangs over all of this. And what I mean by that he has to be very careful is by staying silent, by not speaking out at all about the violence and the rioting and the mob mentality. He is giving the president and Mike Pence oxygen in this campaign to really do some damage and run up a little bit more of a total in the suburbs, which he's going to need come election night.
What can we expect from President Trump tonight, David?
It's the Biden Bash-a-thon, part two. Mike Pence started on Wednesday night. Tonight, the president going to go full throttled, according to two of my sources. Yes, he'll talk about America, and he'll talk about some of what he's going to do in a second term, and he'll talk about how Democrats want socialism, and we have to prevent that. That's what the president will say. But a lot of his speech is going to be dedicated to bashing Joe Biden. And you might say, well, why not go to an uplifting message and all of that? The source I'm talking to tells me that the media refuses to do any hard digging on Joe Biden and let him get away with a lot of what he said in the past and policies and all of that. So tonight, you're going to hear the president go through a litany of what Joe Biden has said, and it's going to get pretty darn nasty. Get ready, Mark. I've got popcorn ready. I've got 2 bowls of it, actually.
Any surprises tonight, David, that we can expect?
Well, I think just the question is, how much does Donald Trump go off script? And, we know it's going to be in the prompter, but Donald Trump likes to riff a few times. But I can tell you this, that typically in convention speeches, State of the Union, things like that, he pretty much stays on prompter. And when I say on prompter, 90 to 95% on prompter. And he usually gets good reviews. The problem with Donald Trump has always been he kind of steps on his own good press 24 hours after the good press. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Our chief political analyst, David Brody, thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Mark.
And be sure to tune into Faith Nation this evening for more on the convention and the latest from our nation's capital.